Hi, guys. This is Christine, your relationship and mindset master doctor, and your leverage for change, coming to you with another live session. And I hope now that today's a holiday that some of you will be able to join me. But today I want to speak about how the anxious, preoccupied individual experiences breakup, and what are some of the things that you do. And if this is you, that you can probably recognize some of these things. And if you're the partner of someone who is anxious or was anxious, then you might also recognize some of these things. So, one of the first things that happen, though, is that it's almost like a form of denial, right? And so you don't really believe that this breakup is actually final, because perhaps in the past, um, you guys may have broken up and then somehow you got back together, right? So you might not actually believe that this breakup is final. So what you might want to what you might want what you might try and do is to try to fix it. And so you'll do a lot of things to fix this thing that you believe that you can fix because you don't believe that it's final. And so you may call the individual, and if they're not responding, then what happens is that you might text them, and after a while, you're going to get angry because this person is not texting you back or responding to you. And what you might do afterwards is that you might now call and leave some really nasty emails, write and send some nasty emails, some long winded emails to just kind of let everything out because the person is not listening to you or responding to you. The other thing that you might do is that you might leave some nasty voicemails as well, right? It's a way of kind of, you think that you're getting back at this person who's just kind of totally ignoring you, because a lot of times the anxious individual is in a relationship with somebody who's dismissive, and this is going to be the kind of a dance that happens after a breakup with an anxious, preoccupied, and a dismissive. The dismissive individual is quite fine. They're not feeling any of this anxiety that the anxious person is feeling, right? So they're quite fine. They distance themselves. They're quite fine hiding out in their cave or wherever it is they go, and living their lives really. While the anxious person is really in this place of severe pain, and so they try to alleviate this pain by doing all these things. First, they start reaching out, texting back to back to back to back, emailing if they're not responding. If the person is not responding, then they may even visit places that you guys used to frequent together, just in case that person, just in case you might see that person again. You might drive by their homes to check and see if this what's happening with this person. Have they moved on with you? Are they seeing somebody else? And if you see cars out there, you might think, oh, they have somebody else visiting them. And so it gets really horrible for you. It gets really horrible for anyone, because guess what? These type of behaviors is because you've not healed. You are, and so you're automatically responding from the anxiety that you normally feel around relationships. Because remember, someone with the anxious, preoccupied attachment style fears being alone. You fear not having a relationship. You feel as if you feel unlovable, actually. And so that when you're in a relationship, you try to hold on to it for dear life, even when the relationship is not working for you. Even when the relationship is not working for you, which is sad. So you know, it's really important for someone with the anxious, preoccupied attachment style to really work on healing themselves. Otherwise, this is going to be a recurring event each time you have a breakup. And because of the trauma around which you operate in relationships, you are going to always go into relationships holding on to the person for dear life, people pleasing, having no boundaries, and just basically losing yourself in that relationship. And after a while, the person starts to feel suffocated. So this is going to happen all, over and over again. And this is why a lot of individuals in all different with all different attachment styles go into the same into relationships with similar problems over and over again. But I'm speaking today specifically to the trauma and how the anxious preoccupied individual experiences a breakup, right? And so the thing about these things that the anxious preoccupied individual does is that after they come to their senses, after a period of time, and they come to their senses, right, and they recognize all the crazy stuff they've done, they will go, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. How did I do that? What was going on with me? Why did I do that? Right? Because it's just like because you haven't healed the responses that you had, the texting, calling, cussing them out with long, extensive emails and voicemails and texts. These things are like programmed in you because of the anxiety you feel around relationships and that fear of abandonment you feel. And so when somebody leaves or there's a breakup, you feel abandoned like, all over again, just like you did when you were a child and with your experience with your caregivers. The other thing is that after a while, and you've kind of settled into some kind of a sanity, right? Settled in some kind of a sanity. You now start doing some kind of other negative behaviors, like you might now start kind of like stalking them online, social media. You will also be blaming yourself. Turn the blame back onto yourself. And this person with whom you never had really a great relationship, it was a relationship. This person now becomes, you start seeing them through these rose-colored lenses, as I could, this way I can describe it, and you start just remembering the good parts of the relationship and not recognizing. So you're kind of like this fairy tale thing that you thought you had, but it was not realistic. It was not real. But because you just need to be in a relationship, you'll find every single reason to stay in that relationship, even though it did not work for you, and it will not work for you because both of you are just not right for each other, right? But you don't see that right now, and so you blame yourself because that is the stance that someone with an anxious, preoccupied attachment style takes. They blame themselves because, and so they in blaming themselves, in blaming yourself, though, what happens is that you're now doing the same thing that you fear others doing to you, which is abandoning yourself, right? And so when you start blaming yourself and kind of now almost like you will do anything to get this person back, even though the person was not good for you, then you have abandoned yourself all over again. So instead of now somebody abandoning you, you have now abandoned yourself, right? Um, the next thing is that the other thing that I know from my clients and from other just from talking to people, what they do is they will try and hold on to this person in any way that they can. So they may suggest friendship, and it is the last way that they can try to have this person in their lives, even though they know that friendship really won't work. It really won't work because they have that connection with them. They want them in their lives as in a relationship, but they will hold on to the smallest little hope of being with them and seeing them and actually hanging out with them and being there with them by offering friendship. And so okay, so it won't work as a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever it might be, but we could just still be friends. We could still hang out, whatever it might be. But they are really sabotaging themselves and abandoning themselves again when they do that, because they know that they want more of a relationship, yet they're holding on to this straw, basically this little breadcrumb is strawish thing that they're just holding on to, that grasping is almost like they're grasping at straws, right? So that's the unfortunate thing, is that some individuals will do that and even try to, but what they're really trying to do, what the person is really trying to do is with the hopes, it's always with the hopes of getting back with the person. Because if they're still in your life, there is a chance that somehow something will change and they'll see you for the good, wonderful, great person that you really are, who loves them, right? And that's the reason why a lot of individuals with anxious anxious attachment style will try to still remain friends with their exes. The next thing is, as I say, the anxious, preoccupied individual. Their view of relationships is like fantasy. Those fantasy things that we grew up with. You know, those the prince riding in and saving, that kind of thing. That's just fantasy, and that everything will be perfect and everything is going to be good, and and that's not real. So you can see that from that. That's a problem in its own, by itself, right? The other thing that will happen sometimes, and remember, guys, when I say sometimes, it's really all of these things I'm telling you. Not everybody does everything that I've said. There are individuals who are at a different, they're on a spectrum, and so some people will act out more and some less, right? It's along a spectrum. So the next thing that will happen is that they will try to make the ex-partner jealous by maybe posting a lot of provocative photos on social media that they know that they have access to, or they will post a lot of photos with a boy, a man, even though even if the person is not a boyfriend or anything, but they pretend that they are. Maybe they'll also post photos of themselves having fun with friends and family or whatever it might be, just having fun. Everything is like they're having a great time without this person. So it's as if they're saying they're already replaced, but they're hurting all the while they're doing this. They are hurting inside. They may also emotionally, what is happening with someone with the anxious attachment style is that they're feeling abandoned. They're feeling abandoned. They're feeling alone. They're feeling lonely. They're feeling unworthy of love. They're having this fear about being alone, right? And they are constantly ruminating about the relationship, and so this is what is going on emotionally for them. Later on, after all of this has passed and some time has passed, then they just settle into this place of grief and depression, and just start feeling empty. And sometimes, they will fill the emptiness with maybe a lot of relationships. They'll just go from one person to the next, to the next, to the next, because they're trying to fill that void that they had with this person, to get over the pain of the loss of that person. So these are some of the ways, guys, that the anxious, preoccupied individual will respond, and some of the emotional ways that they are affected after a breakup in a relationship. And this occurs, guys, which is kind of sad, because even when the person is not right for them, they know it too. They know it too, because they have evidence that the person didn't treat them right. The person was never there for them. The partner, their ex, was never somebody who showed them love, really. But having a little piece, the sad thing about someone with the anxious, preoccupied attachment style who is not healed, they just believe that even a little piece of the person is enough, until they start healing and recognizing that they are worthy in and of themselves, they're worthy of love. Then they will now start to decide and make the decision that they need to move on. So, guys, this is the one thing, though, I can say is that for the most part, not everyone, they would have to start being in the healing process of being a more secure person. A lot of times, once they will not ever allow that person back in their lives. It depends on how much they've healed. But sometimes I've seen, so it's not all across the board, guys. Sometimes I've seen that even after years and years, if that person come back, they'll take them back because of that same. They're hoping that that person changes, and that somehow it's going to work this time. So the takeaway from this is really to understand that no matter which attachment style you are, you're going to have problems in relationships if you do not heal from the trauma of your childhood experiences that is now dictating how you respond in your adult relationships. So, guys, I hope that helps in some way, and I hope that please don't forget to like, and when you go to YouTube, like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more of these lives and also videos that I upload every now and again. At least 2 or 3 times a week, I try to upload some videos on different things related to relationships or just life struggles. I do deal a lot with attachment styles because I have discovered that attachment style is something that really kind of runs below the surface of every single relationship. And so everything is connected somehow to what attachment style you have. Okay, guys, so this is Christine, your relationship and mindset mastery doctor, and your leverage for change. Take care now and have a great Labor Day. Take care. Bye.